Today is an unprecedented day, everyone. We have ourselves yet another modded character showcase. Things that I typically do my best to avoid at all costs, actually. We have a mod that literally just released yesterday, for Pete's sake. And we have a mod that features a returning modder for the first time. Dami Sleeney, aka Default. But welcome everybody, this is Demoman, the Re-Codening. And even if the character is stupidly strong, has been around a while, and is a little all over the place, sometimes it is just better to have fun with things, over making everything perfectly balanced. Besides folks, this is Default we're talking about. They seem to always leave us all the options under the sun when it comes to player choice and overall experience. If you think anything within this mod needs tweak, then trust me, you are already covered with this mod's configuration screen. So, thanks, Default. And you know, I didn't really mention this last week with Drunk, but being able to display some information about your modded characters now in the new selection screen here must be a pretty welcome thing to modders themselves. Short descriptions that you can have fun with, stats, starting equipment even, and more. All just neatly available before anybody even dives in. Wonderful additions all around, I feel. Oh, and I'm sure fans of the game in which this character originates from will also appreciate this greatly. Red team or blue team, you decide. But enough faffing about. Let us truly begin with his basic perks here. One of which involves the chance for critical hits worth up to 2 times damage. Supposedly, the more damage dealt per hit per item actually increases said crit chance. And it does look like it happens relatively often, which is great. And actually applies to all forms of damage to boot. So yep, this one is simple enough, albeit probably a bit too good. However, this next one fits the overall theme of the character a little better in my opinion. Resistance to explosion damage. The math is simple. You'll take 50% less damage overall from any explosion. Yup, simple enough. Gunpowder will only deal 100 damage instead of 200, and Slurtle Slime will deal 25 damage instead of 50. Good stuff. Especially when your name is Bloody Demoman and you spawn with a weapon called the Sticky Bomb Launcher, for Pete's sake. Unfortunately though, I really wouldn't call it a launcher. However, the bombs you can place with this thing equipped are very sticky. The thing comes with 6 ammo, and we can only have up to 6 bombs stuck at any given time. But a neat thing about this weapon is that it reloads itself while it's equipped. 1 ammo per every 12 seconds to be exact. I would choose to lengthen that timer a bit myself, and again, everything is configurable to your liking. This is all just Default's default settings. Now, don't be an idiot like me just running around wondering how they are not exploding. They aren't proximity bombs, people. You need to detonate them yourself. The bombs deal 51 damage each, and all blow up at once, so be very mindful there. Plan ahead. I can't say it's the most practical way to handle certain mobs, like bosses here, but the sticky launcher could have its uses for sure. Oddly though, I think you're going to find that for being called Demoman, his actual demolition skills are going to be greatly overshadowed by the rest of his kit. But before we get into that, you should know that there's another thing that can go boom. The Quickie Bomb Launcher. Also, you will notice that you can just easily switch back and forth between the 2 launchers, as each just uses the other in their specific crafts themselves. So very nice there. But the Quickie Bomb Launcher certainly operates differently than our previous toy. Not only does it have less ammo at but 4 bombs total, those bombs can be planted much faster than the sticky gun, which is nice. Furthermore, the bombs themselves deal 62 damage over the original 51, and the entire launcher itself reloads 50% faster overall. Not bad. And I should mention that the bombs can crit as well, and look blue if they're going to do so. But with this one here, they only last for 5 seconds on the ground before they just disappear, so you best be ready to go boom. And here's where the mod kinda sidetracks itself, folks. Not in a bad way, no, just in a way that really doesn't fit the theme of a demolition expert in my opinion. It could very well be because I've never played the game in which he's come from, but hey, it is still a cool sword, I guess. A cursed one at that. The Eyelander sword starts out rather weak, actually, and with a negative sanity drain on top of that while wielding it. And both of these things are actually just going to go up the more you murder. For you see, the sword collects heads. For each head gathered, you gain increased damage with the Eyelander. Your overall movement speed increases, and even your maximum health inches up per kill as well. You can have up to 10 heads at once, and while at that level, you'll be dealing 100 damage per slice, but the sanity drain will be over 7 per minute, so watch yourself. Oh, and your eye will glow, and the sword talks to you like Lucy along the way. Fun stuff. You spawn with the sword, of course. However, default has gone above and beyond to bring variety to many of these items with skins, like the Headless Horseman's head taker here, and its purple text to boot. You might have noticed that the craft for these things cost but a spear and nightmare fuel, which is absolutely nothing, so you should probably configure that to be more than nothing. Oh, and there is a golf club skin for this cursed sword as well, so why the heck not? Moving on, however, to our bottles of Scrumpy. Both the one you spawn with and the additional you could craft with rot and berries. The skin for it is exactly that, and doesn't actually affect its uses. But what exactly are these things used for? Well, to drink. Duh. Drinking a bottle of this stuff makes it to where the built-in crit chance of this character is just constantly active, meaning every hit is a crit for roughly 1 minute of time, which is just ridiculous. So broken, but it does fit the Scottish persona, I guess. By the by, the more quote-unquote rotted the drink is, the longer that crit thing stays active. So, have fun. From something that does fit to another that doesn't, and this just pretty much sums up this entire character, really. But Alibaba's wee booties can be crafted and worn to grant a speed boost of 25% overall, as well as raise our critical chance by 10% overall. And on top of that, expect a tiny health increase of 25 points with these booties on your feet. They are quite interesting, I guess, albeit, once again, very random. But here's another thing that go boom. The Ulapole Caber. I mean, the craft itself could probably just give it away, but yes, this thing is essentially just a boomstick at the end of the day. Although it may not look like it, it is a weapon. Smash it on something, and it'll deal 200 damage to it, things around it, and you as well as the wielder, so be mindful there. Then, it just becomes another weapon with 10 uses, but only 17 damage a hit. That said, one could just choose to actually throw the boomsticks at the target to deal 150 damage overall. You lose the chance to use it as a legit melee weapon, and you lose some damage along the way, but it keeps you safe. Cool. But now comes the bounty hat, and its truly cool octopus skin. This thing's pretty neat, and I'm surprised it wasn't thought of and implemented before to some degree. But how it works is very simple. Not only does wearing it offer a 15% chance to gain double loot drops from anything killed, meaning that if a mob drops an item from their loot table, there is a 15% chance for another of that same loot to drop. The hat item itself is a portable chest to boot. Personally, I'd lower the slots available and maybe make it so that the more you have in your hat actually slows you down, but I like this idea. Well done. From Demolition Man to Pirate to Samurai? Yeah, I think you see what I meant by this character kind of being all over the place. Next comes the half Satoichi sword, yet another unique weapon with a unique gimmick. For you see, once equipped, the sword cannot be unequipped until it has been used to kill something. Anything. This mechanic is called Honor Bound by default, and I gotta say, I really like it. Be careful when you equip it, obviously. Other than that, however, it's just a melee weapon with 50 uses at 51 damage a hit. But hold up, never mind, I did forget about something. When you kill an enemy with the sword, you regain 10% of their max health as your own. In layman's terms, killing stuff heals you. So, very nice. But to wrap up today, let us just go full samurai, shall we? The Bushi Dao and the Samurai armor are also available to you and are very easy to craft, minus the hit to your health, of course. But both offer 70% damage reduction and 550 durability, all the while both granting an additional 10% movement speed increase. So alright then, samurai time, I guess. A demolition expert who's really not that much of an expert, who prefers the pirate life all the while being a secret samurai warrior. Yup, definitely not what I expected when I picked this mod for a showcase today. But you know what? The unexpected is always welcomed. Thanks again, Default, for all your work, time, and effort for all your mods that you have out there. It just always shows. Thanks for watching, folks. Well wishes to all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.